Interested in whether he goes towards the Wukong, which Contractz has gone towards in the past. You can always clone out, but also the Maokai that I had mentioned. So I was going to say that I would like for him to pick the Maokai. I think that was the trade that he was trying to go for. Hovering over the Nami, but I don't expect that to be the case. They do need to end up picking AD carry on first phase. That has been the meta. You don't want to drop into 4-5 and get that pinched out. So I think it's smart for them to pick it here.
Yeah, you would think Zeri, like we said, potentially, but they also have played like the Sivir comps and stuff like that. And TSM, they did draft earlier game yesterday against, there you go, there's the Zeri. But yeah, CLG going late game makes a lot of sense here against TSM, who, like we said, went early game yesterday versus Cloud9, but generally has been taking scaling options.
Yeah, and I will say, even because they have Elise, that doesn't mean TSM has to go all out early game. You can still pick scaling in the rest of your roles. So it looks like the handshake here. There's Zeri on one side. What would they handshake?
Oh,
I mean, they could do Sivir.
Hey, I think they're just going to trade Sivir.
2022.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm interested in the
We're back.
Yeah.
Where's the yuumi?
I think Karma would probably just be the response here. So you have
Stand out.
Lane. Oh, you're right. I'm trying to think about what support you would pick here. Yuumi is not an answer.
I know you can't yuumi anymore.
Yeah.
So
it's a little harder
the
now.
Enchanter pair with Zeri is not as ideal. It kind of makes me like the Lulu Sivir at the moment.
Yeah. Also, from CLG side, they've been the team to experiment with Seraphine a little bit, or more options for Poome. Poome has been an engaged support more regularly, so they can honestly drop down to 4-5 like we saw in last game and just pick something that just starts a fight.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to go for the Renekton instead of trying to match bot lanes here and say, like, all right, if you're going to keep throwing bans at us, go for it, and we can actually start banning out some of Solo's champ pool, which is admittedly pretty narrow in terms of what it wants to do, things like Ornn, Renekton, and more scaling and frontlining oriented.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also TSM that started off the top lane bans with the Cassante. So now you can just continue to ban, as you mentioned, Solo's picks. For me, I would still ban Jax. I know the matchup for Renekton is good quite early, but then you don't want to get outscaled, and you don't want to find an angle in which Elise Jax is finding a pick onto Renekton, so I want that to get banned.
Yeah, so they banned Kassadin, which is maybe possibly setting up a blind pick for Maple. I would definitely ban Ornn. It's good by CLG to get it out of the way.
That makes sense. I would personally want to give it to them just because it forces the Elise to play around mid and bot, which
You want to give them Ornn?
wants.
I would never give Solo Ornn. That's
Against
crazy
Renekton?
tough.
No way.
I just don't want to give a good pairing for Elise. I think Ornn Elise is an awful pairing, and that you're just forcing TSM to play towards mid bot.
They don't gank top anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is kind of
Elise is a bot lane pairing. He's just camping.
Yeah, we've seen... Oh, okay. The Sona coming through. We saw Core play it, and that lane kind of dumpster. It's a little different with the Zeri. But I think the other thing is we're seeing the kind of classic... We've talked about this with Impact a little bit, but like with Solo in particular, like what are you going to do with the counter pick? Kind of like the gauntlet challenge thrown out. And in that case, I actually really like the Ornn ban.
Yeah, I definitely agree about overall
Backup.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
That's the backup.
Yeah. We saw it from Impact just yesterday, and so being able to see an AD tank topside, I'm interested in what Maple picks here, because if the Sylas, then yeah, I agree. I think the Sylas Elise is something you have to be afraid of, regardless of what pick CLG ends up going for their mid lane.
Yeah, Sylas and the Maokai, always a strong counter. We saw that come in last game just as well.
Yeah, they don't have traditional Elise pairings, so this really speaks to their how much they just think Bugi is good at Elise, right? It's not Elise Renekton. There's no reliable dive they can set up. They don't even have like a Leona or a Nautilus for dives bot lane, so he really just has to land blind cocoons.
And what do you think, what do we think should be Palafox's pick here? Jayce?
Jayce?
Where's that
Renekton
going?
mid?
Renekton mid?
It could just be. It actually could just be.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to go for an immediate lane counter, but once again, Boogie is going to be looking for a
I think this is bull.
This is curved.
I don't like it.
So much
I don't
AD
like it.
damage against a Sion top. Like,
That lets TSM scale. You can just play Azir.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think you play Azir and just have Contractz hover you in moments in which, yeah, you're afraid of the Boogie gank, but they're actually going to be going quite all in mid lane.
Yeah, I actually like Victor Azir there, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Jayce mid, that's a Palafox thing.
I agree with the fans that TSM has a better draft here.
was there that shoot up on the last pick?
Yeah.
Hey, if they win off this draft, maybe Boogie's back on the ban list on Elise. that could just be the angle.
All right, both TSM and CLG started the season 2-0.
It's probably close to Zeri and every other enchant.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. We'll see about how much poke Poome can actually get done here. That's how we tell the difference between the aggressive Sona players And the farm for late ones. Looks like there is going to be the classic rush push here on bottom side. We do kind of expect early stages to be farm down on bottom side and Elise to try and make a play on one of the more aggressive solo lanes. But this is what's so exciting for me. A champion select where we finally get Elise through. Elise, one of the scariest level 3 gankers and one of the champions that best facilitates tower dives. So if this game is not on fire with early ganks, early tower dives, early action all over the place, then I will be very disappointed because we almost never get Elise get through the ban phase and into the actual game. So
yeah, if you get to 20, 25 minutes and you haven't been able to find a big impact on Elise, well, now you've got a problem that you picked her in the first place. But getting in there early, affecting all these different lanes, being able to counter jungle the other guys, steal things away, that's what I want to see.
And he is going for the electrocute. It's been gaining a lot of popularity to go for the press the attack on Elise because your Q, human form, and spire form do apply on hits, so you can get the burst damage and you can get the damage amp for your teammates and stuff later. That's how, you can kind of scale a little bit later also because you can still provide a damage amp plus,
like what people used to do with Trundle.
Yeah. And there's a big difference between Elise players that just perma gank and those that weave in a decent amount of farm, will determine like how hard you're gonna fall off and what your curve looks like. But bottom side, the farm, battle over the farm continues. Good swap there. Thank you, observers. Shows us the ward on Bugi. Knowing where Elise is at level 2 and where Elise is getting her level 3 provides so much here. Big Dokes has the extra information. They know Elise is going to be 3 as soon as she finishes the Gromp here.
Yep,
so
that's
be
what Bugi's
aware.
Dhokla just goes ahead, checks that river brush to make sure that Bugi wasn't trying something cheeky all the way back at level 2. They're going to see Bugi still clearing this out, so the ward lasts long enough that they will see Bugi hit 3 and then path back down towards his wolves.
Yeah, and if you're in solo queue, you just spam pinging enemy jungle.
Please don't go there, please don't go there, please don't go there.
And then 15 seconds later, you keep spamming the entire path. Okay, careful, careful. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please.
He's right there. I'm telling you, he's right there. Palafox sees him, goes back and checks. All right, CLG comms are on point. They have spotted the spider.
The spam pings worked. Palafox got the notification. They sussed him out. They found the spider.
Now they'll stay safe for now, but it will be up to Bugi to find those angles more as the game goes forward. Contractz going to step into the enemy jungle here, recognizing that if Bugi got level 3 off of the Gromp after getting the blue, then he probably only did his red in the bottom side. So he's going to walk in there and just see that chicken camp.
Yep, and Maple was able to see not only Contractz, but the ward that Contractz put down, which nowadays, since it's so easy to just ping, if you see a ward, you get your little 5 gold star, basically bonus from the game, and it alerts all your teammates forever that ward is indeed on your Raptors, Contractz. So he knows, everybody knows. And they got the little bit of extra 5 gold. Here we go, baby. The Elise patented tower dive.
All righty.
With the repel.
Let's see it work. You want Bugi to take the aggro first because he's the one who's got to drop it by using the repel. There it is. Goes up, goes down, and TSM just completely botches it. What in the hell is going on up here?
So I will say, Big Dokes played that super well. You always want to play through the minion wave to dodge the cocoon. He dodges another cocoon!
He goes back and gets another one! Dokla's too damn good at this game!
Solo does get the double, though, as Palafox tried to jump back in and kill him, and now Contractz is going to have to flash after him.
He goes in for the twisted advance. He arms the sapling in the brush. Yes. Contractz gets him. It'll be a 3-2 game for CLG.
Well, we are already getting what we asked for, the blood early on. They're not going to let this Elise go to waste. Bugi makes the move for the early tower dive. I think Dhokla. So again, playing through minion wave is really critical because cocoon from Elise, if you can block it with the minions or even delay Elise casting it, then you have way bigger chance of outplaying. So Dokes goes right for his minion wave. Look at him. He's hiding behind minions the whole time. He then goes for the stun through the minion wave to the other side. So Bugi has to go into spider form and then use the repel early. So Maple, with the tower aggro on him, goes down, and CLG initially with a beautiful, beautiful outplay. Then Stokes is like, man, I'm charging up my Fury here. I'm going to be able to heal again. So he goes in, he gets another kill. Solo answers it, and it could have been left at that, but as we know, Palafox then went in to try and finish, which caused also Contractz coming over to get another kill.
A whole
And so
cascade.
everybody's getting money, and they've turned it into a lot of upgraded boots here. Double Merc Treads picked up for CLG mid and jungle for them, which I love because they're playing against Elise and Sylas. So huge value on these Merc Treads for Contractz and Palafox to be able to fight that mid jungle 2v2. It's critical in how you want to play, to your team's win condition and kind of delay and not allow this Sylas to really get any power in the game. The point of this Jayce picks for Palafox and that kind of surprise at the end of the CLG draft is to punish this Sylas and beat Maple and Bugi at the 2v2 in mid and jungle. And so putting their early money into those high value Merc Treads is definitely going to allow them to do that. And we'll see about the scaling here as well, because Contractz did, of course, get one of those kills for the Maokai early on. If you can rush that Demonic Embrace, then your sapling control goes from really annoying to actually deadly.
Very impressive indeed. Dragon's going to be secured by the side of CLG. Contractz can't get away because he already used his flash earlier, remember, to secure the kill in top. So that means TSM can get one back and bring the gold in this game right back to dead even.
Yeah, good little punish here from TSM. They don't let him get the dragon and get out, getting one kill for themselves. It did cost the Sylas ultimate there. He steals Maokai ultimate to kind of zone off Contractz, and Contractz eventually goes down with the ignite on him as well. But still, dragon picked up there for CLG.
Now, I got my eyes on this top lane in particular because Dhokla's doing a good job right now. Like, he played that first tower dive well. He's almost got the first plate. But we saw Sion become invincible in a game yesterday. It was Impact piloting that one. And Solo is currently up almost 2 waves in farm, working on doing the same thing himself.
Yeah, I was going to add that, yeah. Well, Big Dokes outplayed the initial tower dive super well. Solo still went back in and got the 2 kills on the 2 solo laners.
Yeah.
He took him down, plus got the extra kill onto Palafox. So this Sion will be very, very annoying to deal with. Also, love the new Bramble Vest. You can just pick that up. There is a Sona on the enemy team, so that plus the healing from Renekton and Maokai, it's pretty valuable to get the Grievous Wounds, and they just straight up buffed the return damage on the item as well. So definitely a lot of possibilities for good investment of that early lead.
You can see right now he's got the bombies. He buys his plated steel caps. Once he turns that bombies into a Sunfire Cape, he's feeling really good because Contractz isn't going to do enough magic damage to kill Sion with all of his passive health. So he's going to be able to stack plenty of armor this game against the Jayce, the Renekton, the Zeri. It's TSM deciding they want to go in. Solo looks for Poome, who flashes over the wall to get out of the way of the engage. Dhokla's already down. That was not good from the Croc. And TSM just stomps him and takes the eyeball.
Yeah, really, really good initiation from Solo. One of these top laners is way tankier than the other one. That fight was before even the Kindle Gem was picked up, I believe. So it was the Caulfield's Renekton. That thing just burned like paper. That crocodile went down instantly. Meanwhile, Sion with ultimate forces a flash, zones the rest of the team off. So TSM, really good setup off of that Rift Herald for themselves. They get the Rift Herald, they also get the extra kill, and by nature of killing Dhokla with no tower or no teleport for himself, it allows Solo to get 2 turret plates and another tower dive.
Oh, and now this is what TSM wants their tower dives to look like. That was much, much prettier, boys. They pick up the freebie on Dhokla. Now he's even further behind as Poome and Luger want to turn things around on Neo and Chime. Luger getting out of the way of the return of the Boomerang Blade. A little bit more damage. They won't connect there with the zap, but Luger doesn't seem to be done yet. Gonna keep on pressuring this turret for some plate money as Neo and Chime have to retreat.
Yeah, necessary cross-map play for CLG, seeing the mid lane and jungle roam up to top side. They think, okay, we've got to make something happen on the other side of the map. TSM just spent a lot of resources to keep this Renekton behind and get that early first tower. So they do at least get a little bit for themselves in the form of a turret plate on bottom side, but it's still a magnificent win here for TSM on the top side. They get the whole tower with the Rift Herald, and Solo is massive.
Yeah, this Sion is already a problem, Kobe, and it's only going to get worse unless CLG can find a way to knock him down a couple of pegs here. Still no completed items for anybody on the map aside from Maple's Sylas, who does have Rod of Ages stacking at 10 minutes.
Solo is actually just a miner. He's walking around taking turret plates with this Demolish proc off of every turret in the game, it feels like. He goes, grabs some more money off of mid lane, annihilates the minion wave. He's having such an impact.
I thought you were trying to say he's like still in high school, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure the dude has like a full beard and a mullet. I don't think he's still...
It is a magnificent mullet.
Yeah, no.
Joe Dirt even is jealous.
Yeah, Joe Dirt's jealous of Solo here at this point, as we've got this man just stomping around the jungle. 99 farm compared to 81. How much money, observers, if we could switch over to the gold. He's got 1,150 gold in his inventory as well.
Let's also check how much bonus health he's gotten.
From Soul Furnace.
Yeah, I love all the stacking passives.
485.
Pretty juicy. Big
485. Yeah, 11 minutes in, you've got almost 500 extra HP. Remember that a ruby crystal costs, what, 400 gold and gives you 150? Yeah. So you're getting about 1,200 gold's worth of stats from that passive here so far. Feels really good for Solo and for TSM with the current state of the game. The second dragon's about to spawn. Dhokla is up in the top side of the map. He has teleport, but it is not unleashed. It'll be Maple over there answering him as TSM starts off the Drake. CLG coming over to answer. Doesn't look like they're willing to give this one away, but Solo is again going to be the one trying to zone them out. He'll tank up the Maokai ulti. And TSM are still staying on the Drake because Solo zone. They got to figure out how they're going to play this. Palafox with the Shock Blast on 2. Contractz needs Boomerang Blade. TSM are forced back. Dragon's going to reset here in about a minute if they aren't careful.
You notice how Solo's just shrugging off all the damage, though?
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's actually going in even further. He uses the ulti. He CCs 2, but TSM goes in too far. Palafox is able to swoop in and immediately kill Poome, as Luger's now fighting with his back literally against the wall. Neo barely stays alive, as Palafox and Contractz have to try to get something now. Dhokla's ready to enter into the fray, but Contractz drops before he can arrive. CLG are disjointed. Everybody's coming in at different times. Solo just flashes over the wall. See you later. Oh, man. Poor Dhokla's just got to watch him run.
Oh, my goodness. That was so funny. Solo, you can tell the comms right there. You know, he's standing in the front, absorbing all this damage. But the rest of TSM are like, hey, we're actually taking more damage than you, even though you're soaking all these skill shots. And so the rest of TSM huddling back here, kind of pulling the dragon off to the bottom lane side. Bugi getting a little bit low. The Hex Dragon actually pretty annoying as far as the dragons do go. And then they try and follow up, but Palafox snipes out Elise here. And they look at the back line. Luger gets left alone, though, because Solo, even with 3 people on him, still is able to push off the rest of the members of CLG and allow TSM to get the extra kills and then use his flash as well to get out, no problem. So Dragon acquired for TSM, plus the increase in the gold lead. I wanted to point out before that kind of sequence actually started out, though, the good map movements from TSM. As they make the call to go for Dragon down by this side of the map with those 4 members, they also made the call to rotate Sylas from mid lane up to the top side, catch the minion wave, and disallow Dhokla from getting extra turret plates and pushing up there and losing out on those minions. So it was a good job of them not only setting up the dragon for themselves and utilizing that super powerful Sion to get them the objective and get them the positioning for the team fight, but they also rotated over to funnel more money into Maple and stop CLG from getting some objectives there of their own.
TSM's feeling really good about the first 15 minutes of the game here. They're up 2,500 gold. Drakes are tied. Solo's still in complete control over the top half of the map, although Dhokla has caught up mostly in terms of the farm. Bugi's Elise, 5 out of 8 kill participation here in the first 15 minutes. 2 deaths, one of which was the unfortunate tower dive that got bungled up there on his first gank attempt. And now they're going to start up the Rift Herald here for TSM. Bugi can solo this one easily as long as nobody else shows up to stop him from the other side. And with Neo applying pressure back in mid lane, Luger and Poome are going to be stuck right there. Dhokla approaches towards the Herald pit now. He throws the ward over the wall, but all they're going to do is see TSM taking it. Not a whole lot they can say about it.
I love games like this because it's so funny when people are so used to saying, oh yeah, you know, the Sion side of the matchup there, you're just up there absorbing. It's a tank. You'll be so useful later.
Sit under turret and farm.
But TSM throw all their resources up to the Sion and make this massive frontline threat. So Neo here just collecting kills on the Sivir is going to be a big DPS threat behind this immovable tank later on. Dhokla going for the flank though.
Dhokla wants it. They're going to sync it up with the Maokai ulti, and there he goes. Big Dokes. They find a kill on Neo, and CLG are now ready to keep the fight going, but Contractz falls. Palafox coming in from behind. Chime's at 200 HP. Palafox needs to chase him down for a little more damage, but Luger gets him first. TSM on the run. Solo on the front line, stoking all the shots. Can he survive? He'll barely walk it off. The zap comes through. Shock blast gonna be soaked by Maple. CLG find a big play there.
Nice wraparound from CLG. They know we can't go through Solo, so we got to go around him. Dhokla with the flank over the Raptor pit, timed with the Maokai ultimate to get themselves a kill and a tower to boot. They needed that to get back into this game.
And we have 56 seconds before the next Drake spawns, meaning all those resources used for that last team fight, those ultimates should be ready to go here again. Let's take another look. You can see Dhokla go over the blast cone. He's ready for the flank.
That was one of those big old blast cones for the giant jump. Then they time it with the Maokai ult, and the little bit of damage there comes from Sona. Nice little last bit of damage. And then Palafox on his flank, able to get the chunk on the Chime. They continue chasing through. Zeri is so good at chasing you down and harassing here. Luger using that ultimate, using all the extra speed. Nicely able to dodge as well as keep up all of the extra autos coming through. And CLG, after winning that fight, are actually in a position to set up here for the next dragon. They currently have Palafox towards top side. Does have his teleport ready for another Jayce flank if they need it.
So here's the important thing. Luger and Poome both still don't have ultimates. Neo's is about to come back up, but everybody else on TSM already has theirs. So it's ulti situation favoring TSM in this certain setup right now. Poome is just about to get his ulti back, but it doesn't look like CLG want to fight for this.
Yeah, priority gain from TSM pushing in the mid wave. Mid-prio pushed all the way up to secondary tower, so they start up the dragon themselves. CLG poking around, but Palafox is making the call. I want this top tower gold. Let me get this objective first.
Solo comes to stop him. Palafox can interrupt the Q knockup to get rid of him, but has to flash away from the ulti, so he'll escape. Costs his flash, but he gets the turret.
Yeah, it was a very expensive tower gold that they were able to get because it cost them, yeah, that flash as well as the dragon. The rest of TSM, Chime and Bugi here trying to chase down Palafox in the jungle, knowing he has no flash afterwards, but they don't fully commit to it. They don't blast cone over, knowing CLG have a much quicker route to rotate. And it's going to be the full resets. No objectives left on the map here. So, Palafox now with no flash makes the split push a little bit more difficult, and even though they move up on Solo here, he's not very scared.
No, he's not really afraid of much of anything, I don't think, man. This guy is a brick wall. What is that, 3,400 HP in a game where almost everybody else has like 2,000? Yeah, 3,402 health, 848 of which is coming from the passive on his W, that Soul Furnace.
Yeah, and the reason why Sion is one of the most picked tanks in competitive play is because, yes, the utility of the ultimate for these rotations and trying to get engages down as well around objectives, but also he is one of the tanks that can very quickly annihilate minion waves and then move over to the rest of the team. So Sion is one of those tanks that gives you a lot of, you know, what people refer to nebulously as tempo. Very quickly killing minion waves, being able to use the ultimate to transition really quickly for himself, and he's going straight up mid while the rest of the team is pressuring bottom and avoiding the Maokai ultimate.
Yeah, Sion's pretty mobile for a big old boy, and he's going to go ahead and continue pushing that tier 2 in the mid lane while the rest of TSM pushes towards the tier 1 in bot. CLG have 4 men defending this bottom lane tier 1, but they're going to use a stolen Maokai ulti from TSM to force the fight anyway. The turret's taken low. Dhokla's killed before they even drop it. They're going to grab the turret, and they're going to push the issue even further. Solo cuts off Contractz from the other 2 players, and they finish him off first. Poome can't get away after from the CC, and it's a double kill over to Neo. The TSM Steamroller, chugga, 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 just flattens CLG.
Yeah, TSM have Solo the Steamroller, and then they've got Neo the Buzzsaw right behind behind him, chopping everybody down. It is quite the combination, Flowers.
Buzzsaw Steamroll, that's like some Mad Max stuff. I can respect that. TSM, they are going all sorts of crazy on CLG 20 minutes into this game.
Yeah, nicely stolen Maokai ultimate there. Not only were TSM able to just hide everybody behind Neo's spell shield for the CLG Maokai ultimate, but then they still themselves, use it at the tower, push them off. They time it with Solo's teleport coming in. Solo immediately ults as well for the follow-up engage to get another one. It's just nicely coordinated here by this TSM team. And definitely going to be a worthwhile win if they're able to get it here. Both these teams tied 2 and 3 in the standings. Currently with a massive gold lead for TSM and +1 Dragon as well. Side lane attempt here from CLG to pinch. Look at the mini map though. Because all of TSM have come over to Baron to try and get control, Maple's not worried and he was looking offensive.
Oh yeah, we got some reinforcements for the side of TSM, and it's way too much damage, man. Sona is one of the squishiest champions in all of League of Legends, and TSM are making sure Poome does not forget it. Now it's them with a 5v4 for the next 20 seconds. They have control over the top side of the map, control over the red side CLG jungle, and they're starting up the Baron.
All right, Contractz does not have flash, nor does he have smite right now. So there's not a lot of threat on TSM. Bugi is waiting on his smite. It'll come up quicker.
Oh, they just immediately decide to go in now, forcing the fight on CLG. Contractz not stepping into the charged queue of Solo, but now they polymorph Dhokla, and he's going to be forced back too. He's got the Dominus currently active, giving him plenty of power, but he still cannot force this further forward because there's still 4v5. CLG have stopped the Baron, but that's all they can do for now.
So Sion's just a what?
Sion's a bit of a problem.
That's a beefy boy right there. He didn't even look like he was losing any health in the back. But TSM made the call. They were worried about a steal, and since there was a little bit of time still left on Bugi's smite, they were thinking, yeah, let's flash over. Maybe we could just get a kill instead. Yeah. We do not want to flip. There's no reason for us to flip right now. They have such a big lead with this massive front line and a turbo scaling backline in the Sivir. So there's not a lot of concern in TSM's mind to cause them, pressure into flipping any sort of objective. Easily, they can just rotate right back down to the Dragon, 4-1 split push, and pick it up.
Alrighty, TSM starting it up, Solo zoning everybody away. The Zeri laser doesn't even hurt him. Like, it barely puts a dent in his shield. And TSM are very well aware of just how strong they are compared to their opponents right now. 3 drakes to 1. Here comes the Sion train. Contract's gonna be caught away from the rest of his team. Tries to drop his ulti defensively, but it can't be done. Maple goes on a killing spree, and that's the enemy jungler, Kobe. If there was ever a time to take Baron, it's when the enemy jungler's dead. I think TSM have one thing on their mind.
I think TSM agree, and they've got a stolen Maokai ultimate for a turn. So even though they used their Sion ultimate, stolen Maokai ultimate plus Sivir ready to chase people down, they might also look for the turn here.
CLG trying to stop it. They already had to do this once, 4v5. Now they got to do it again. They're going over to see if they can stop Maple before he reinforces with the rest of TSM, but Dhokla immediately loses 3/4 health. TSM going right back onto the Baron. It does a partial reset. Still at about half HP. TSM are going for a turn and burn. Nice shock blast from Palafox. Gonna find Chime and Neo. Put a big chunk into both those health bars. Baron's already down to 2,000 HP. They want to try to finish. Bugi's gonna secure Baron for the side of TSM, but can they get away? Neo's got barely any mana to work with. Maple right back over the wall. They find the kill on Luger. The AD carry is down, but he's traded away for Bugi. TSM, no mana on the top laner, no mana on the AD carry. They're trying to retreat here.
Oh,
as
big
CLG does everything they can to try to catch up. Contractz throws out the ulti, but remember, it still moves slow at the start. They won't get anything from it.
TSM make good on their escape. Maple using the stolen Sona ultimate just for a little bit of poke here as it was about to time out. They get their Baron. They survive. CLG trying to chase down something, but unable to get more than that single kill they pick up. And objective bounties have arrived. TSM feeling very good about their reset.
TSM, 5.8 thousand gold ahead. They got Baron for the next 2 minutes, and then their Drake Soul spawns in 3.
And we're looking at some pretty big power spikes coming soon for their carries. Death Cap for Maple, Quick Blades for Neo. So their tanks well ahead, and their carries are soon to follow.
CLG is going to have a tough time coming back into this one. It's got to be perfect. The engage has all got to be just layered. Contractz ulti on top of Poome ulti, on top of Luger ultiing everybody and firing through all of them. Big shock blast onto the carries. Like, there's so many conditions that have to be met for CLG to have a good fight here. And that's not even talking about the presence of this Sion that's now at 4,000 health and leading the charge into the CLG base. Demolish proc hits like a truck. The first tier 3 turret is down, and TSM should be able to take the inhib here as well. Dhokla's back in the bottom lane, trying to take out the tier 2 of TSM as a trade. Should be able to get it, I would think. TSM not really super concerned about that, as now they're going to switch their attention over to the top side of CLG.
Yep, they send Solo back, so at least try and stop it at the inhibitor turret here, but that's going to be enough. CLG call it off. Giving up one inhibitor, here's a cope take.
Okay, all right, hit me with the copium.
When you give up one inhibitor, it's still farmable. You know, that's not going to cause so much pressure, especially because it's middle inhibitor.
Right, everybody's mid anyway.
And you can still kind of rotate over to contest objectives. If you can use that, continue to farm these waves. CLG want to funnel as much money as they can into Zeri right now, into Luger, to be able to actually carry the team fights. You know, Palafox is already 3 items on Jayce. That's all you need on your Jayce. That's your poke contribution. Hopefully he can try and find some poke around the Sion onto other members. But really what they want is more money into Zeri right now. So if they could funnel those mid minions into Luger, while keeping up enough vision not to give up everything to TSM, that is their rescaling take.
And you can see that Luger's building that Lord Dominic's Regards 3rd item on Zeri because he knows they've got to be able to get through solo. He can't just walk past the Sion. It's not been working out so far like that this game. Drake spawning in under 1 minute. Both teams recognize this is sold for TSM. So CLG is going to want to do everything they possibly can to stop that, because I think if TSM can get that one, then things are going to feel completely unwinnable instead of just mostly for the side of CLG. CLG have been struggling to really play this one super coherently as a team, I think. We've been seeing different people get caught out. Contractz getting caught a couple of times here. 5 deaths on the Maokai this game. Poome getting blown up every time he's slightly out of position.
I just think they've been unable to deal with the snowball on topside. The TSM, they spent so many ganks up topside. The roams from mid lane with the Elise as well, and trying to get the game back under control after this Sion got out to such a massive early lead has proven to be too tall a task. And now you've got that death cap we were looking for on Maple. Level 16's death cap Sylas is ready to go.
That's scary, man. Here we go. Sion leads the charge. Solo goes right through that Maokai ulti, right onto Contractz himself. Maple fires off a stolen Maokai ultimate to see what they can find with it, and they'll kill Maokai with his own weapon. Maple goes on a rampage, and now he wants to chase after Dhokla as well. But the Slice manages to get him away from the TSM mid laner. It's a 5v4 for the next 30 seconds, and the one missing from CLG is the Smite. So Dragon Soul goes to TSM.
Yes, sir. TSM racking it up. CLG trying to punish Maple here. Palafox going.
Oh, no. Oh, Palafox. You thought you were the Punisher, but instead you are the punished. The shutdown over to Maple.
Yeah, that was an attempt born of pure desperation. You could see it in his eyes. They're like, oh my goodness, this game is so lost right now. Please, we gotta catch somebody. Kill anyone. But while TSM are taking the dragon, they get that and they get their counter kill. Palafox down, TSM at the gates knocking.
TSM are not going to knock nicely, Kobe. They're just going to kick the door in. They'll take down the second tier 3 of the game, go after the inhibitor itself. They've got 15 seconds before Palafox respawns. Contractz throws out the ulti defensively, clearing the wave, stopping the champs. Just trying to get enough time for Palafox to respawn. Dhokla's gonna go into the ulti, but the damage on TSM is so massive, he has to retreat all the way back into the fountain. Solo still at about half HP here. You've also got Maple on the front line, and he's not as tanky. Once he comes out of the stasis, he's gonna be hard-pressed to get away, and they will take him down. Luger gets the kill, and TSM are in full retreat now. Luger wants to chase it, shock blast onto 2. Zap follows up, but Chime gets away with a flash of his own. Now Palafox continuing to try to close the gap, but TSM turn it around. Bugi kills Luger, and TSM are not done yet. Dhokla finds his way into the back, but now he'll be the target here next. Neo's still alive for a little bit of DPS, but can he get the opportunity to right-click? Yes, he will, and Palafox dropped. Now Solo's got another ulti ready to go, and Poome is not wanting to soak any more damage. Solo has quite a different opinion, and he'll keep leading the charge for TSM. Dhokla gets slowed, more damage coming forward. Now you've got that last remaining Nexus turret, and it's about to drop. Dhokla, Poome, and Contractz will try to defend against TSM as the Maokai ulti flies out yet again, but they still can't find the kills. Dhokla's taken low, but they get Bugi first. Dhokla, somehow still alive, finally drops to Neo. The fight does not stop, and Solo's still trying to get himself back away. The mid lane inhibitor finally respawns from 5 minutes ago, and Contractz stays in front of Solo, so he cannot ult away. Solo just trying to get any sort of an angle to head out of town. Is he gone? Is he gone? He's not gone, but he's gone enough.
They're not going to keep up on the chase. Contractz trying a little bit as he floats through the jungle.
Whew, that was a long one.
His Astro skin, yeah, Flowers. That was quite the siege, the epic siege of the CLG base with the attempt at the turn there. And it was only, it only went on that long because of the really nice combination from Bugi and Solo. Bugi hiding behind that little ledge, and then they combo the Elise cocoon into Sion Q knockup to snipe out Luger. A good little setup there and turnaround from TSM while they're escaping. As you know, it turned into a little bit of a marathon race there through the jungle in the aftermath. They're looking to finish it. The Chemtech Soul also doing a tremendous amount of work there as everybody was getting so low in the fights. But it does afford us another setup for Baron, my friend. Inhibitors have respawned towards mid lane for CLG. Bottom lane is still pumping out supers, but they're in a position to poke around at least.
They also still have a naked Nexus for CLG, so as long as at least one inhibitor is down, the game can end if they end up at a man disadvantage. Nice shock blast from Palafox.
Yeah, they're about to poke around and find out with these shock blasts. They actually still hurt a lot on Neo and Chime, taking them down to almost 50%.
Solo's ready to go. Maple still on the Maokai ulti yet again. We're past the poke around phase. We're into the find out phase. And TSM is showing him exactly how it's gonna be. Luger gets away over the wall, but that doesn't matter. TSM have sights on the Nexus.
Yep, they're returning to finish what they started earlier, Flowers. Take it away.
That should do it. They might spend a little time padding their stats. It's 22-9. Drake's soul and all the money in the world. TSM defeats CLG.
You'll love to see it. When Solo was announced that he was going to be returning on TSM, people are like, oh, so it's going to be a weak side top, and they'll play around Maple plus Bugi, mid jungle, and they'll roam to bottom lane, right?
Yeah.
No, they're gonna roam the top lane around the tank, baby. Around Solo, around the Sion. They dive the Renekton multiple times. Even after the first dive does get outplayed a bit, they still return to the game plan. They don't give up on that game plan. And then Solo rewards them in a big way. He got massive demolish procs off as well. A lot of money from turret plates for him this game.
Yeah.
In addition to using the Rift Herald top and really just driving that advantage home. Once he got out of lane 2, then you've got the super beefy tank front line, positioning him in front of the jungle entrance over towards the dragon, and TSM snowball it. He made it so easy for those